Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Bolt Action Reloading. If you're interested in a load test with the 130 grain Nosler RDF loaded with Alliant Reloder 16, stick around. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here and you'd like to see how I and the rest of the community here make our group smaller, start now by subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell icon. That way you'll get notified when I post new videos and you won't miss anything. Well guys, here we are with the 130 grain Nosler RDF back on the channel again. In this week's episode, we're going to have a slightly more appropriate powder than last time. Today's powder is obviously Alliant Reloder 16. If you recall, the last time we actually tested this projectile on the channel, we used Alliant Reloder 26. I did get some criticism from some people that they did not think that was an appropriate powder for this projectile, and wanted to throw away some results that I got from that testing simply because they felt it was not appropriate. While that may be the case to some extent, I have had significant difficulties with the 140 grain RDF doing very well in my rifle, and I think its little brother, the 130 here, is going down that same path. But before we get too judgmental, we're getting to the load details for today. The test rifle for today's video is the Generation 1 Ruger Precision Rifle, chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, 24-inch barrel, and if you'd like to know all the details of the rifle, I will put it in the description box below. Like I said, the 130 grain RDF is our projectile for today. The part number is 53505. The primer for today's video is the CCI 250 Large Rifle Magnum Primer. The brass we use for today's video is Sig Large Rifle Primered Brass. The cartridge overall length we use is 2.852 inches. The powder is Alliant Reloder 16, loaded from 42.8 grains all the way to 44.0 grains. If you guys are fans of the channel, you might be aware that Reloder 16 charge for a 130 grain projectile sounds familiar. And in fact, it is. If you guys recall, I actually tested the 130 grain open tip match tactical bullet by Berger, and I'll post a card up if you'd like to check that video out. Keep in mind you can click that card anytime you like after the video, or when the video is coming to an end if you'd like to go catch that. To compare the results of the two, we really don't intend this to be a contrast and compare video. However, I did want you to know if you'd like to go take a look at it. If you don't like the testing I did with the RDF, maybe you'll like that a little better, especially since it has the exact same charge weights. The data source reason for today's video is a combination of actual data that we pulled off Sierra's website for their 130 grain weight projectiles. However, their maximum does go slightly higher. The other source of data was actually Alliant, and that's actually stated our max charge at 44 grains, and their estimated velocity with the 130 grain OTM of 2932. We'll take everything with a grain of salt. So let's just get into the load data. At 42.8 grains, our estimated velocity from Sierra would have been 2,800 feet per second. Our actual achieved velocity was 2861. Standard deviation with a horrid 15.1, extreme spread of 40, and a 1.689 MOA group. At 43.1 grains, our estimated velocity would have been 2819. Actual velocity bumped up slightly to 2873. Standard deviation down slightly to 12.1, extreme spread 31, 1.762 MOA group. At 43.4 grains, our estimated velocity would have been 2838. Actual achieved velocity bumped up to 2906. Standard deviation dropped to 9.6. Extreme spread of 26, but a 2.849 MOA group. At 43.7 grains, our estimated velocity bumped up to 2856. Actual velocity achieved was 2925. Standard deviation of 10.6. Extreme spread of 29. And another unfortunate 2.867 MOA group. At 44 grains, our estimated velocity from Sierra would have been 2875. The estimated velocity based on Alliance data actually was 2932. And our very close estimate right on at 2933 feet per second. Standard deviation, best of the day, 7.9 feet per second. Extreme spread down to 16. And the best group for this with 1.486 MOA group. Certainly not spectacular, but we've really learned with this 130 grain in my RPR, we really shouldn't expect much different. Like I said, guys, I really didn't want to spend too much time dwelling on it, but if you go check out that Berger video, you'll know that the actual Berger projectile, I only actually achieved a maximum velocity at 44 grains of 2888 feet per second. So we did see some significantly higher velocities with the RDF for whatever reason. Certainly across the board, the standard deviations were better with the Lapua brass versus the Sig. So I don't know whether we should blame the projectile, blame the brass, but at the end of the day, we're really left with subpar results with these 130 grain RDFs. Kind of honestly what I expected. Certainly the powder is a more appropriate burn rate for the projectile than we tested last time, and really not a significant difference in the groups. biggest difference we saw last time, if you've seen the Does Neck Turning Actually Matter video that I did, we found out that it seemed that if we actually used neck turn brass, that it did significantly improve the size of our groups. Where in this video, we again had some larger groups, almost 3 MOA. When we actually neck turned our brass and used it that time, most of our groups shrank with this projectile down to almost 1 MOA. So maybe if we were going to reuse this Sig Brass for that would be the next step. In fact, honestly, that might be what's going to happen with this lot of brass. I really haven't decided yet, but we might look at another video on neck turning just to see how far out of round these were, but we'll just have to see. Anyway, I'll say it like I said before. If you guys have found a good load for these 130 grain RDFs, I'd certainly like to know what it is in the comments section below. If you found a secret to get these things to shoot in 6.5 Creedmoor, I'd certainly be interested. Well, whether you like these 130 grain RDFs or not, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any comments or questions, please put those in the comments section below. Please hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you like the content, please consider subscribing to the channel, hit the bell icon, and until next week, stay safe in small groups.